What's up, guys? Miss Pass here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and today I'm bringing you my Commander Luke Skywalker roster review. That's right, I was able to get my Commander Luke up to gear max with a very, very large quantity of saved up gear. I got very lucky. I had almost all the Carbantes he needed, almost all the stun cuffs he needed, and all the other stuff just kind of lying around. And then I just kind of had to wait on shipments a little bit to get the last couple pieces. But very lucky for me, I had most of the gear already standing by. His health and protection are actually pretty good. At gear max with the right mods, you can get him up to an easy 35 or 55,000 health and protection. His speed is actually really good. I modded mine mostly for speed, kind of gave up a little bit of potency. I didn't have the right mods. I would really like to be able to get him some more potency, maybe a potency main stat cross, but that's a little ways down the road. His basic ability will inflict defense down and speed down, and depending on whether your target already has either of those buffs, so if you hit the same target twice, you'll strip turn meter and inflict stun, which is extremely handy. His special ability is the Moneymaker that strips buffs, 100% turn meter, and it inflicts buff immunity, which is wicked awesome, and if the target had less than 100% health, it removes one cooldown from that ability from the get-go. His second ability, Call to Action, actually combines with his unique Learn Control to let you choose, basically toggle between an offensive Luke Skywalker and a defensive Luke Skywalker. When he has the Call to Action buff, he ignores taunts, has plus 50% accuracy, plus 50% crit chance, and plus 50% crit damage. And that is wicked. His leader ability, we'll just kind of sidetrack here a little bit. His leader ability is actually pretty useful. I've found it extremely effective when you're facing AoEing opponents because it gives you counter chance and a little bit of offense. His Learn Control, going back to his Call to Arms ability, when Luke doesn't have the Call to Action, he has an additional 50% counter chance, 50% avoidance, and 50% defense, plus 100% tenacity, and then gains 10% turn meter whenever another rebel ally takes damage. So that is with ZETA. Without the ZETA, he still has the additional crit counter chance, the additional defense. He just doesn't have the crit avoidance and the tenacity. He still has the turn meter gain whenever a rebel ally takes damage. So if you're looking for the turn meter gain, you don't have to apply the ZETA here. And if you are an offensive player more often than not, like me, then you probably don't need to ZETA this ability necessarily, because you're really only going to give him the extra crit avoidance, which arguably is very nice, and the tenacity. His unique It Binds All Things gives Luke an additional 40% potency right off the bat, which is why I'm not really too worried about that potency cross mod. And then whenever Luke resists a detrimental effect, he recovers 5% health and 5% protection. That is with the ZETA, and the ZETA gives him the 5% protection gain. He still recovers the health without the ZETA, and whenever Luke inflicts a debuff, he gains 10% turn meter, and other allies gain half that amount. That is the part of the ability that will garner the ZETA, especially for those of you who just kind of throw Luke into a squad with less rebels than non-rebels. So for instance, my preferred squad. Like I said, I modded mine mostly for speed. He has really good base speed, so a speed set is actually going to be very beneficial for him. And then I just kind of tossed two offset mods because I had good speed secondaries, and sometimes the set bonus isn't worth not having the speed secondary. Now, when putting him in a squad, I have found that me personally, my most successful squad actually didn't have any other rebels in it, believe it or not. I ran a Rex lead Thrawn Darth Nihilus in place of Han Solo here, and General Kenobi with my Commander Luke Skywalker. So this squad that I was testing out was just because I have been a longtime fan of Han Solo ever since I first watched Star Wars as a little kid. So when Han Solo got the ZETA, I couldn't resist the urge to give him the ZETA. I figure I'm like 7, maybe 6 mats away from my next ZETA ability, so Luke will get that one, but Han Solo got the go ahead on the first Zeta mat here, or the first Zeta of these New Hope characters. So I'll have another video of that coming out hopefully very soon. But Commander Luke Skywalker works extremely well in pretty much any squad. I played around a little bit. I'm hoping that I can play around a little bit more on my second account and, maybe test out some other Rebel squads. But me personally, I didn't honestly have a whole lot of really good success with Commander Luke Skywalker as my leader. I tried several different team comps. Now, granted, I didn't throw in Leia. I don't have old Ben past Gear 9 because he requires like 200 Carbanti salvage just at Gear 9 to get to 10. And my Princess Leia is only Gear 10, so I didn't really want to throw her into arenas at Gear 10. However, she does hit like a freaking truck. But I did try like Commander Luke Skywalker with Chase, R2, and General Kenobi. I tried Commander Luke Skywalker with Han Solo, Chase, and R2. I tried Commander Luke Skywalker with Han Solo, R2, General Kenobi, and Thrawn. I tried swapping out R2 for Darth Nihilus. I tried, tossing Commander Luke Skywalker with R2, Rex, Han Solo, and General Kenobi. So I tried a bunch of different kind of makeups with, different combinations of having, Chase or Thrawn or Nihilus or Han Solo in the squads. And my arena, I must admit that my arena shard is very diverse, and I really like that about my shard. It makes arenas a lot of fun because I don't have to fight the same team over and over and over again. So that's really cool. And plus, it gives me an opportunity to get you guys a lot of good gameplay footage against a pretty good variety of arena squads. So you saw that last squad was a Nihilus lead. This is an actual Commander Luke Skywalker lead against Solo, R2, and Thrawn. Or was that Thrawn? I don't remember. Maybe it was General Kenobi. I lose track of all these opponents that I fought here. But at any rate, I tried to get you guys kind of a really good diverse showing of not just Commander Luke on offense, but Commander Luke on defense as well with these teams that I was fighting. So going back to his ability. So his basic ability inflicts speed down and defense down, like you see here. And then he also inflicts stun if the target already had defense down. So when looking at team comps, Wedge is going to be a huge team member for Commander Luke Skywalker, especially if you're running him in like Galactic War or something like that, because having Wedge on your team, Wedge applies defense down with his basic attack. So that basically gives Commander Luke Skywalker a free stun the first time he hits that target that Wedge had already just attacked. So that comes in extremely handy. Plus, when you've got Commander Luke Skywalker throwing debuffs all over the place, that really sets up your Thrawn for success. Because, obviously, Thrawn feeds off of debuffs, so having Commander Luke Skywalker with Thrawn is going to be another good teammate. It's a good little 1-2 combo. And then the same thing goes for Thrawn. Thrawn is automatically there throwing out the fracture. So, I mean, when you've got Thrawn and Commander Luke Skywalker together, plus the protection gain, you'll see here in a minute, the next time Commander Luke Skywalker goes, I believe in this, nope, it wasn't this one, but later on in the footage here, I've got a scenario where Thrawn did his cleanse and protection up with Commander Luke Skywalker. The very next turn, Commander Skywalker used his call to action, and basically goes up to full health, full protection, and it's perfect. So having Thrawn with Commander Luke Skywalker is just going to make his call to arms, or call to action, I don't know why I keep calling it call to arms, but at any rate, it makes his call to action just that much better. So I think General Kenobi is obviously a no-brainer to have on the squad with Commander Luke Skywalker just because General Kenobi is probably one of the best tanks in the game. However, you will see some gameplay later on of a Commander Luke Skywalker with Old Ben lead, and that team was tough. Old Ben is a great off-tank for Commander Luke Skywalker, not only because if you have his taunt ZETA'd, he's going to get the taunt back again, but he's just really good. And honestly, I found myself being a little reckless with Old Ben in that, and right there, that Ahsoka, man, she just trashed my freaking General Kenobi. But anyway, so Old Ben, I found myself, his rework actually makes him pretty deadly. I actually found myself wanting to get rid of Old Ben and just saying, you know what, I'll take it. I'll take the fact that he's going to buff the enemy team, and I just need to get Old Ben off the field because he was that rough. So Old Ben rework, great. They did a good job on him, but as far as teamwork with Commander Luke Skywalker, he works great. Not only is he going to be giving turn meter if you ZETA the leader ability for Luke, but it's very handy to have Old Ben in a squad with Commander Luke, especially with Commander Luke as the leader. Other teammates under Commander Luke Skywalker, Fulcrum works extremely well under Commander Luke Skywalker. She's just absolutely bonkers underneath Commander Luke Skywalker. As you saw right there, she pretty much one-shot my General Kenobi from a very decent amount of health. So yeah, R2 obviously is going to be a moneymaker because if you have number crunch ZETA'd, it's just a no-brainer. R2 is also a very good character to have on your squad if you are fighting against a Commander Luke Skywalker lead, because Commander Luke Skywalker gives that counter chance, and obviously stealthed allies or stealthed characters can't be counterattacked. So it works out extremely extremely well to have R2 on your squad if you are fighting against a Commander Luke Skywalker. So, Commander Luke Skywalker lead, I am not quite sold on it yet. Maybe if I get my Fulcrum to 7 stars, I'm still waiting for her to show up in Shard Shop. Fingers crossed, I'm not really hopeful right now. I'm not very optimistic about it. But if I do get my Fulcrum to 7 stars, she should actually be becoming farmable here very soon, probably in the next week or two, because let's face it, guys, they said that it was going to be about 2 months after a character was introduced that it would go free to play, and Fulcrum event was the last week in May, so we should see Fulcrum free to play very soon. That aside, I want to get my Fulcrum to 7 stars because I really want to try her under Commander Luke Skywalker lead, because she hits really hard and she gives protection up every time she uses her basic attack. So all of those counter attacks are going to give protection up to all of your allies. So that's going to be very handy. Obviously, Han Solo. I mean, come on, Han Solo is a no-brainer under Commander Luke Skywalker, because that 50% counter chance with his unique 35% counter chance. Basically, Han Solo is just going to be a counter-attacking monster, and his basic attack now strips turn meter and is just a beastly ability. Plus, if you have his unique ZETA, he's going to double tap every time, just like that. So, I mean, he hits a lot harder now with that ZETA. He is just a brutal killing machine, and so obviously he makes a really good teammate for Commander Luke Skywalker. Other characters that make decent pretty much you pick your rebel and they're going to be good under Commander Luke Skywalker. I don't have to run through all the characters. You can figure it out for yourself. But if you do have Wedge counterattacks, inflicts defense down, Commander Luke Skywalker is going to stun. So it's going to be one of those situations where anybody who anybody who does an AoE and gets counterattacked by both Commander Luke Skywalker and Wedge is going to get stunned. So that could be an extremely useful little trick for you to keep up your sleeve if you are running Commander Luke Skywalker as a lead. Now, to get into raids, obviously, Commander Luke Skywalker, you have seen the videos. If you watch YouTube videos, especially if you're watching my YouTube videos, you're probably watching McMull's videos, you're probably watching Cubs fan Han, you're probably watching some of those other YouTubers, and so you've probably seen Commander Luke Skywalker solo, or at least practically solo, or do a ton of damage in Phase 1 of the Heroic AAT, basically tearing General Grievous a new one. Now, it's not just the Heroic AAT that Commander Luke Skywalker is extremely useful in. He can pretty much, by himself, literally solo the Heroic Rancor. Like, literally, the textbook definition of solo, by himself, kill the Heroic Rancor, which is absolutely bonkers, just insane. So, basically, Commander Luke Skywalker is great in arenas, pretty much in any team. He is great by himself in arenas, like he doesn't have to run with rebels to be good. He can rip up the Rancor, and he can rip up the Heroic AAT. So right there was some footage of a not so successful run with my Commander Luke Skywalker. So he's not the end-all, be-all answer to everything in arenas. I'm still playtesting him a little bit, but generally he is still awesome. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Check me out on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. And, of course, join the Discord server to continue the conversation. And I will catch you all later.